So I came across an article the other day online and it talks about the 7 levels of financial freedom. I thought this was kind of interesting. I don't always agree with all the stuff that they're saying. However, I figure let's just go through it together and let's see where I currently stand and where you currently stand and what your thoughts are. The 7 things they talk about is clarity, self-sufficiency, breathing room, stability, flexibility, financial independence, and also abundance of wealth. So let's break this down. Clarity. It says here to figure out where you are at financially and where you are going. I would have to totally agree with this, and this takes me back about 12 years ago when I used to detail cars for a living. And every time I would detail cars, I would actually listen to podcasts. And one of the things that I've learned by listening to these podcasts was that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and wealthy individuals actually owned real estate. And at that point, it made me realize that I wanted to get into real estate. So I was able to see exactly what my goals are, what I wanted, and the vision that I had. But I didn't know how I was going to get there. But I knew by having that vision and constantly thinking about, I want to get into real estate, I want to be successful, I want to buy my apartment complex. That helped me push me to where I'm at today. And I think this is a big thing, especially if you're just getting out of high school. This is something that you really need to focus on. Visualize where you will be in the next 5, 10, 15, and 20 years. This is a big deal. Self-sufficiency, number 2, it talks about you've moved out of your mom and dad's house and now you can cover your expenses. If you move out of your parents' house and you're only making a certain dollar amount, is that actually wise? I would actually have to disagree with this, because here's the thing. I did not move out of my parents' house until I was actually 21 and chased a girl all the way up here to Las Vegas. Big mistake. Before I moved out and moved to Las Vegas, I could have moved out here earlier, but what I did was I stacked enough chips in order for me to do that. I just didn't move on out. I had enough to cover the expenses, but I wanted to have extra cushion. But especially in today's society, I want you to think about this. If you're making some money, but you live with your parents' house, why would you move out, right? This makes no sense, because when you're in your early 20s, you should be stacking as much income as possible. That's the whole goal. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices. Inflation today makes no sense by you going out and getting an apartment or renting a house. You have a car, right? You got to pay for food. That makes no sense. So I would actually have to disagree with this. Let me know in the comments below if you guys disagree with this. Number 3 talks about breathing room. Talks about that you have enough money saved and you no longer are living paycheck to paycheck. This should have been done before moving out of your parents' house. This makes no sense. I remember when I was living paycheck to paycheck, but also this is really good if you do live paycheck to paycheck, because this helps you out financially as far as how to run the numbers. Because I remember when I was living paycheck to paycheck, I would literally go to Walmart shopping with $75 a week. I had to optimize of what we were buying for the week and how much it costs. So this would actually help you out as far as financially later on when you're starting to run the numbers, when you're starting to invest in the companies or in your investment properties. So this is actually a good tool. However, do not move out of your parents if you're living paycheck to paycheck. This is the hardest thing that you're going to be putting yourself into. So I would have to disagree with this. Stability. Stability talks about this. You have no bad debt, 6 months worth of expenses, right, for an emergency. Now, I want you to think about this. If you're making $3,000 of expenses every single month, but you're bringing in $4,000, that means you're netting only $1,000. But it says here that you should have at least up to 6 months. That tells me that's $18,000, which means you have to save for 18 months. This makes no sense. This is where we go back to number 2, self-sufficiency. You move out of your parents' house, but before you move out of your parents' house, you should already have this money, especially in today's society. Now, think about this. If you were making $4,000 a month, you were living with your parents and you saved for 6 months, 6 times 4 that's $24,000. Instead of that $18,000, what could you have done with that money? You probably could have invested that money into a property or some sort of investment that gives you a return. So that way now you could take that money and now you can use that for your living expenses. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree on this or not, because I would definitely disagree. Let's talk about flexibility here. This is number 5. Flexibility talks about this. You have at least 2 years of expense that you have saved, and you could take a year off of work. First of all, you should never be taking a year off of work. It makes no sense whatsoever. You could be making $1 million a year in your prime, where you're in your early 20s all the way to your 40s. That's golden time. That's prime time. This is where you bust your ass. This is where you grind out, right? Make as much money as you can. Take that money, invest, build that passive income. I really want to stress that to you guys. Number 6 talks about financial independence. You can live off the income of your investments that's generated. I would totally have to agree with this. Sometimes it may take longer than others. We are all in this race, believe it or not. It doesn't matter where you start. However, you're in this monetary game. Everybody's playing it. You may not know it, but you're still playing it. It literally took me 10 years to get to the position that I'm at right now. And I remember this, when me and my wife got together and when she was working at a corporate job, all her friends would go out and party and they would have fun. We were literally missing out. They would, post pictures and it was like the coolest thing ever. But you know what? We went through those struggles. We saved money and we bought investment properties. We bought one, then we bought another one and another one. And it took some time. Then it got to a point where our investment income covers all our expenses. We're talking about medical, all our lease vehicles. I'm talking about the house, everything. And that's what true financial freedom is. And that's where you need to focus on. What matters is to have that vision. Number 7, abundance of wealth. Abundance of wealth talks about this. Money isn't a concern, that you have more than you'll ever need. Imagine going to a grocery store, not even looking at the cost of what groceries are, going to the gas station, pumping your gas. You don't even care if it's $6 a gallon. You go to a store, you find something that you like. You don't care about the price. You just buy it. That is true financial freedom, and that's true financial wealth. These 6 steps here, it seems like it's hard, but it's not. It all starts from clarity, starts from that vision. I believe you guys can get there. If I can get there, I know you guys can get there. All right, so let's recap, guys, for the 7 levels of financial freedom. Number 1, clarity. Number 2, self-sufficiency. Number 3, breathing room. Number 4, stability. Number 5, flexibility. Number 6, financial independence. Number 7, abundance of wealth. So where I feel like I currently stand is somewhere in between 6 and 7. Reason why I'm saying this is because I have enough income coming in that covers my expenses and discretionary income where I can actually go out and buy stuff. Now for me, for levels 7, the abundance of wealth, money isn't a concern. What I realized as an entrepreneur, once you get to that point, it no longer becomes about the money. The money in your bank account is basically the point system. It's only a game from here on out. Now let me know in the comments below where you guys currently stand. I really want to encourage you guys and take a deep dive in your financial situation and where you currently stand. Take a look at your debt. Take a look at your expenses. What can you do to make those adjustments? Let me know in the comments below where you currently stand. If you guys like more video content like this, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, until next time, I'm Chakits Krulsawat. Peace.